CryptoTrader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.
You can't identify nodes when it's like off-chain included. So do you want to come up and talk to us on consensus stuff?
Yeah, I mean, basically we just have to kill it. There's Monday, we have like 5 hours of meetings. We basically have Monday, we have Tuesday, we have Wednesday. Monday is meetings for the whole thing. There's meetups at night, we have the block party at night. Tuesday, we basically are preparing the whole day to hit the announcement at 4:10. So we need to rehearse for that. We need to get that set, we get the script right. We have the Zilliqa meetup right after. I'm gonna run down there as soon as you're off stage. And basically we're going to be busy 24 hours this day, 24 hours this day, and probably 24 hours on that one too.
24 hours a day. Yes, that's what life is like for the teams behind the big blockchains, you know, during the week of consensus. The biggest event in the crypto and blockchain space worldwide. Meet the Enigma team. Guy, their CEO, John, the co-founder, Tor, the marketer, and Fred, the lead dev. They gave our CNBC crew an all-access pass to their Consensus 2018 experience. In this exclusive, CryptoTrader will show you the planning, the meetings, the announcements, and the all-important meetups. In the end, we keep hearing that tokens are all about community. And although Enigma is focused on privacy, this one is no different.
It's important that average people like me can come out, learn something about these projects.
A community group like this is absolutely the heart and soul of all blockchain projects.
We're in a shared working space in New York City, and this week the Enigma team have made some big announcements. Now their team is distributed around the whole world, but I've got them all in the same place at the same time at this workspace. This is their CEO, Guy. Hey Guy, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So let's take you back to your MIT days. How did this all start for you?
So I was a researcher. I was hooked with blockchain, not for the reason most people, I guess, get into it, not for the trading side, just the technology. I was like immediately hooked. And when I looked into it, and I remember even having early conversations with people from Ethereum, trying to understand the limits of what they're building. And as I was trying to hack into it, I saw, well, everything's public. All the data is completely public, so I can't really use this for many applications. How would companies come and use this technology? And I was like, okay, this needs fixing. So I spent most of my time trying to solve the problem of privacy in blockchains. And that was really the start of Enigma.
What were you studying at MIT? What research were you doing?
Sure, so I was at a lab called the MIT Media Lab. My professor, Sandy Pentland, is one of the world's most renowned data scientists, and he's also a privacy advocate. And so we were thinking together about, how do you combine the idea of decentralization and, people gaining ownership of their data back together with this idea of privacy. And through this idea, we basically started working and researching this topic.
Let's talk about your history with blockchain and then your history with Enigma. How did you get involved in the blockchain?
My co-founder Guy wrote the Enigma white paper in 2015, which is one of the most downloaded, cited papers in the ecosystem. And back then there was no one even thinking about privacy. But yeah, I mean that's how I got to know Guy, and then one thing led to another, and here we are today.
So Fred, you're the senior architect. Your job is to build the system, or to design the system. And why did you join them?
I was working on my own project, which was around cryptocurrency trading. And Enigma, at that time, was working mainly on Catalyst. And we spoke about technical problems in the Enigma forum, and we realized that there was an overlap between what we were each working on, and we decided to join forces and work on Catalyst together.
Now, let's go back to the beginning of Enigma, the white paper. When did you come across the Enigma white paper?
I discovered the Enigma white paper while I was a graduate student at MIT. I was in the business school, and I became fascinated with blockchain technology. And I took some courses at the Media Lab that were focused on applications of blockchain technology, and I kept running across the same issue of data privacy. And when I realized that a Media Lab researcher had already written an incredible work on data privacy, so I had the great fortune of taking Guy's class while he was still instructing at the Media Lab, and I read through the paper, and I must admit I didn't understand it as well as I should have at first. But ultimately, it's come to make me realize the importance of data privacy to the success of decentralized applications overall.
What were you doing before you joined Enigma?
So right before I joined Enigma, I was actually working at Snapchat. And I spent a year in Los Angeles working on their data science team. And firsthand, I kind of saw the importance of, how do you protect this data? How do you use it in an application? And, in the social space, like with Facebook or Snapchat or Twitter, I don't think the data is very well protected at all, and we're starting to see that. It really woke me up to, what would be important for building a better future in terms of data privacy and what we can build with it.
Ainsley, the type of partnerships that you're working on, what type of partnerships do you work on?
So we primarily work with people that are already building decentralized applications, and that's what I focus on, people that are trying to create truly decentralized projects. And what I do is I kind of try to work with them, understand their software architecture, understand how they're solving the problems that they're choosing to solve, and also working with them to understand in what ways their current design may not actually be that usable because it doesn't preserve the privacy of the user's data or of the inputs to the different contracts.
Let's put all the hype and buzz aside for a second. Are partnerships really in the works? These days, it's all about real-world use cases. Can Enigma in fact scale and provide both existing blockchains and eventually enterprise solutions with privacy? That's the big question as they get ready for their week at Consensus.
So basically, all of the booths are down here. All of the media is up here. So CNBC, CoinDesk, everybody's on the third floor. And then if you get down to the other side, it's all the NEM ecosystem guys. And they've got like just one room that's all NEM. All like the one-chain icon and those guys are in that room over there. This floor is basically just all media. Very, very, very crowded.
So we have a noon to 1, all right, then we have a 2:30 with the EA.
Yep.
We have a follow-up on that later on, going up until 4. Then we have 4:15, and we have Zilliq at 5.
Zilliq at 5, and then rehearsals.
All right, yeah, and then we need to get to practice for tomorrow.
Dress rehearsals.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Busy day.
Let's do it.
Cool.
As Enigma goes about Consensus, we'll break down the initial white paper that apparently went viral. From there, they raised $45 million in an ICO in 2016 and got to work creating the first privacy protocols for smart contracts. How would you summarize the contents of the white paper?
So the white paper starts by stating blockchains has 2 issues, scalability and privacy. It's crazy. I mean, we're 4 years later and everyone's talking about it.
What year was this?
This was 2015.
So 2015, you wrote a white paper that said we're going to have scalability problems and we're going to have privacy problems.
Yes.
And we've got to solve those 2 if the blockchain's ever going to be used by enterprise.
Exactly.
What else is in the white paper?
Right, that's like the introduction. Then after the introduction, we basically lay out the solution. And the solution is, we believe, is that we need to separate the blockchain as a verification layer that, that is like a thin consensus layer for like a lot of decisions, from the computation layer. Heavy computations which still happen in a decentralized setting, but the data being computed and the data being stored should not live on the chain. It should be on kind of like a separate layer. And that layer should also have very strong cryptographic primitives. It's something that we call secure multi-party computation, and that really allows you to also achieve the privacy properties.
But that should be done off the blockchain and use the blockchain for consensus.
For consensus and verification, it's still very much distributed, it's still very much decentralized, but it should work together with the blockchain, where the blockchain gives you consensus, and this gives you like, computation and privacy.
So secret contracts, why is it such a big development? What's so complicated about secret contracts?
Well, if you think about the way the ecosystem has evolved, we have everything publicly available to everyone on these blockchain systems. So blockchains are amazing for correctness, but they fail significantly on the privacy side. And if you think about the applications you use today on the current Web 2.0, whether it's Uber, whether it's your banking information, but if you imagine a world in which these applications primarily shift to the blockchain ecosystem, then you'll have fundamental challenges. Say you want to build a decentralized Uber, right? Everyone will have to know where you're getting picked up from, where you're going to. Everyone would know your payment information. So that's why we think this is a big deal. For true adoption, this is what's required.
But give me an example. So me, how would it affect me as a user?
If you were using a decentralized Facebook, and that decentralized Facebook put everything on a blockchain and there was no data privacy, it wouldn't even be like a problem with data leakage. Your data would constantly be being leaked. It's worse than what we have now with this Facebook, where they can, sell their data to a third party or license it to some application.
They could get it for free off the blockchain.
Yeah, you could get it for free off the blockchain, and everything that you wouldn't want somebody to necessarily know about you would already be out there.
If this problem wasn't solved by Enigma, how usable would the blockchain be?
It would be a compromise. I think people would be compromising between on-chain and off-chain data. And at the end of the day, if we're just compromising all the time, we're not really innovating and we're not really creating the decentralized future that everybody's talking about.
Privacy seems all the rage in 2018, but is Enigma too early? That may be a concern for investors. So how does the secret code actually work, or the secret contract actually work?
We have, the architecture has 3 layers. We have the verification layer, which involves blockchains. We have a secret compute layer, which right now we're developing. The idea is you would have a contract written in Solidity, so it's exactly the same way you write a contract in Ethereum. You would upload the contract there, but what we do is when you're sending the inputs, say your location, your identity, whatever, you encrypt the inputs while coming to the Ethereum network. So people can see the encrypted inputs on the Ethereum network, but they can't do anything with it. Then what we do is once the inputs are there, we can put them, we can pull them into our own network of nodes. These nodes are able to decrypt the data inside the network in a safe way, so no one gets to see your location, your identity, and still do the computation that was, let's say, that was put on the Ethereum chain. So the idea is the function, the code is auditable, so you know what's going to happen, but the inputs are hidden, so you're not leaking any sensitive information about yourself or whatever application you're using.
So what you're saying is that without this kind of technology, the blockchain actually doesn't have very many uses.
We believe that blockchains and smart contracts without data privacy are very limited. They're more novelty than they are necessity. What we're trying to do is close that gap, and privacy technologies can make blockchains more than what they are now.
What's the difference between privacy as you guys see it and privacy as Monero or Zcash see it?
Of course, so the way Monero and Zcash function is they hide transactions. So I'm sending money to someone else, no one sees who it's coming from, no one sees who it's going to. Monero and Zcash are like Bitcoin, are like payments with privacy. We want to be able to do logic, smart contracts with privacy.
Today, Enigma is written on top of Ethereum. But post-ICO, the team began planning to eventually build their own blockchain and become chain agnostic. That's all well and good, but for now there are scalability issues. In comes Zilliqa. The 2 teams are meeting and holding a meetup after consensus. Could this be the first step in tackling the scalability issue?
So, we got like 24 hours until the meetup.
Right, very excited about it.
All right, well tomorrow, I think everything's gonna kick off at like 6:30. Can you guys make it early at all?
Yeah, of course.
We'll probably fill up the space. We have a lot more RSVPs than we know what to do with. You guys can speak first if you want, or you can go second. We'll do 15 to 20 minutes each. We'll do 20 minutes for a Q&A together where they can ask questions of you or from us or both projects. I mean, we don't have to get too technical because I think it's still a broad audience, but you might get a technical question in the Q&A, and that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
We can talk a little more about how it's distinct from Ethereum. Like, I'm sure you'll have a group that wants to talk about like Zilliqa specific solutions. Some people want to talk about secret contracts.
Are you leaving from the venue here to like the
Yeah, I'm going to go straight from here because we're presenting at 4:10. Our announcement's 4:10, and then basically I have to go over right away. If you want to, yeah, you're absolutely welcome to. All right, guys, we're looking forward to it. All right, it's great to see you. I'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Tell us about the community. How important is the community?
I think community is like one of the things that make or break projects in the blockchain ecosystem, because there's so much advancement happening all the time. So you really want to have people who believe in you, who want to test, break, and improve what you're doing.
I cannot overstate the importance of the community to a project like Enigma.
I believe the importance of community is vital for crypto. Without a good community, you can't do what you're doing. You need people to support your efforts. You need people to build out the different pieces of the ecosystem.
So as our community grows, having them really understand our vision, having them understand our story, having them use our products, there's nothing more important to us than allowing them to be a part of the project.
What do you think the vibe is around the community with Enigma?
I think it's good because I get to go to a lot of the sort of developer-focused meetups in San Francisco where I'm based, and it's an awesome feeling to kind of be talking to someone and they ask what project you're with, and I get to say Enigma, and they're like, oh cool, I've been waiting to see what you guys are working on, let's talk.
Finally, the time has come for Guy to take the stage. He gets mic'd up. The team waits nervously. The crowd files in, ready to scrutinize announcements like this. Is it all hype, or is there actually a working product here?
So there have been proposals out there to build what's known as a decentralized coin mixer, but these involve a lot of cryptography, they take a huge engineering effort, and are very, very difficult to build. The uniqueness in Enigma is that you can actually build something like a coin mixer with just a few lines of Solidity code comprising a very simple secret contract. And that's what you're seeing here. So that is again just one demonstration shown today to you of the power of what secret contracts and decentralized applications can do if they are built on top of Enigma. In the next few weeks, we're going to share a lot more partners and more ways to build on top of our protocol. We are launching our testnet next month in June. So I advise you to stay tuned. Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
So the announcement that you guys made on the stage at Consensus, how relevant was it? How big was it?
I think it was huge, and we were able to show for the very first time an application that was built based on those concepts. So this is where the rubber gets to meet the road.
Yeah, the rubber gets to meet the road. What can we expect after that?
Testnet, that's coming up next month. So what we've shown in Consensus is just one application, one example of how you can use secret contracts. And again, that is the first in the market. Next month, anyone can pretty much start developing and writing code to this.
And going forward, what are your major milestones?
We're going to try to release the mainnet this year as well. We have more improvements coming next year as we add more components to the protocol, like secure multi-party computation. We have a long roadmap.
When can we see the first dApp using Enigma?
Hopefully very soon after that. It's going to be really, really simple for developers to work with the first version of our testnet. It'll be as simple as writing an Ethereum smart contract and registering your secret contract on the Enigma registry, and then we have a listener that basically hears that and then runs a smart contract on our network.
I think Enigma is going to be the project that people come to and enterprises come to actually develop real decentralized applications.
So we're leaving the confines of Consensus 2018 to follow the team downtown to the Lower East Side. Here we're going to find out what real community is about in blockchain. We expect over 200 members to grill Enigma and Zilliqa about their partnership and future products.
So there's been a lot of research and a lot of work in actually developing decentralized coin mixers. But with Enigma, in this example, basically, just in a few lines of Solidity code and one simple secret contract, you can get this done. You don't need to have any expertise, and again, just a few lines of code.
So we see that many new applications on the blockchain will be competing on the existing 10 transactions per second. So it is actually our belief that most of the smart contracts today can be supported even with this sort of limitation or constraint.
So give yourselves a hand, and thanks for coming out. We have this space We have the space here until 9:30, and Guidance and Shu will be around. The rest of the Enigma and Zilliqa teams will be here. But thank you guys again, and we really appreciate coming out on a rainy night.
We're here in an exciting co-working space in the East Village.
It's New York City Blockchain Week, so it's really intense. There's so many events going on.
There's a huge room, probably 200-300 people turned out to hear the CEOs of these projects speak.
I develop and I work on a blockchain infrastructure company, and we're looking for a product like this to work with ourselves.
I'm an investor. It's actually one of my biggest investments.
We're looking at what the future of blockchain is going to be developed as, and we're really excited to see companies like Enigma and Zilliqa setting the trends in these spaces.
Hey.
Great presentation, really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Following you guys' project's really fun here.
I'm a researcher out at Montana State University. I have been studying privacy protocols for about a year. I have a pretty decent understanding of this space, and I really think Enigma has a huge ability to move the research and development of privacy in smart contracts and platform blockchains forward in a big way.
Big way? How big?
In the way that it should be moved forward.
It's really good to see that a serious team, right, from MIT is working on privacy and anonymity on blockchains.
Hey, how's it going?
Sebastian.
Guy, cool.
Just want to say, big fan of the project, cool event, thanks for making this happen. Always cool seeing other MIT alums do cool things.
Man, you don't get a PhD from MIT being an idiot, right? Like I don't know if these people are geniuses, but they're obviously really smart. My mom went to MIT. She's smart, so they're smart.
If you guys need any help from the community, let us know. I'm here long term, 4 years.
Reach me out anytime.
Okay, man.
I really appreciate it, man. Thanks for the support. That's amazing.
No worries. That's what I like about showing up at these meetups. And you can ask the leadership pointed questions and see their responses.
So to see the community turn up for both Zilliqa and for Enigma is really exciting.
The blockchain community is incredible. I mean, like, we are all absolutely, distributedly come together and made this happen.
Decentralization is about more than just having major institutional investors. It's about more than having major institutional companies who want enterprise solutions. It's also about individual users. These companies are building protocols for the future for people to use. So it's exciting that kind of laymen and average people can come out and learn something.
The fact that we all get to meet in a place like this and develop our communities that originated online around an idea like Enigma, and then get to coalesce in a community group like this is absolutely the heart and soul of all blockchain projects.
All right, guys, I think we're done. Let's thank you very much.
Is it all about community, or is strong tech and delivery as important? Either way, it seems Enigma may have the perfect mix. But with blockchain, I guess only time will tell. Do your own research. I'll see you again next week. Until then, trade well, my friends.
Crypto Trader is proudly brought to you by eToro. Discover a simpler way to trade and invest in cryptocurrencies and more.